If you believe it, you're gonna make it. Getting stronger by the day, you're invincible. If you believe it, you're gonna make it. Getting stronger by the day, you're invincible.
Good evening, Mzansi, and welcome to the Tuesday edition of TrendingSA right here on SABC3. We have got the trends ready and set up for you. I am Markle from the only house that hasn't been cancelled. And sitting next to me is my favorite water sign, baby.
Oh, look at you being cute with the water sign. What up, Team Pisces? What it do, baby? Hey.
And of course, don't forget the king of the airwaves. Airwaves is not a country. It's just a title that we give out. You've missed him on the socials. It's more flavor in the house.
Listen, that is the only piece that I rule over. No house, no palace, nothing. Just a little Nana radio show, but it feels good to be back. I missed you guys, hey?
Oh, we missed you too, Mo.
I didn't miss you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's what she said to me earlier on. I was like, oh, I'm so happy to see you.
I'm playing.
But you know what, guys? There is something we call people who, age like fine wine. You know, like that bottle of whiskey, the 21-year-old's been matured, right? And one such person is our birthday girl tonight. Happy birthday to Lootlove!
Yes. So cute. Thank you, guys. This is so precious. Oh my gosh, you guys are...
You have two Mr. Parties. I mean, that's beautiful.
Maybe two more. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like...
But you know what? There are a lot of other people who are just as excited about your birthday as we are.
Hectic.
Did you know that? Well, check this out.
What are you guys?
Happy birthday, Loot. How many years has it been now? Sheesh. Stay you. Don't you dare ever change, man. I can't wait for you to realize all your dreams.
Hey, sis! I know I was with you just now, but happy birthday. I hope you have the most fantastic and beautiful day. I know this weekend we're gonna rock. Thank you for everything. You know I wish you nothing but the best in this life thing. Mwah! Love you.
Happy birthday, big sis. I hope today is nothing short of amazing. You truly do deserve it. I hope you know that I love you and I've always got you. And I hope 32 brings happiness, prosperity, and health.
Happy birthday, 20. I wish you nothing but all of the best, Mamfene. You've been a great mother to the twins. And you've been a mentor to many. And personally, you're a spirit animal to me. Happy birthday, 20. I love you.
Hi, friend. Hope you're well. Big day. Happy birthday to you. 32 is seriously no joke. Getting old now. But I'm blessed to have known you. And hopefully you get to enjoy and keep showing us flames on the ground.
That was so sweet. It almost moved me. On that note, it's time for Top Trends.
Oh, wow. I need a moment. I was not ready. Sorry guys, I'm not supposed to be this emotional. Also, how dare you guys make me cry?
This is your moment. This is your moment.
Okay, Queen is back, King is back, I'm here. So on a more serious note, the 2021 academic year is already off to a bumpy start as the VITS hashtag popped up on all of our timelines because students at the institution are up in arms over financial exclusion. This past Monday, the university commenced with its academic calendar, despite calls from the SRC and the other student organization cautioning the institution over pending registration issues which affects over 8,000 readmitted students with outstanding fees.
And since then, students at the university have taken to social media to voice their grievances. And this is what they had to say. SNC Nkosi said, education is a basic human right. Where should the students at WITS get money to settle their debts in a country where unemployment rate is 43%? WITS EFF had this to say. WITS University is always quick to hire bouncers to harass and brutalize students on campus. But when it comes to real issues of students, no plan at all. Sizofunda ngenkani 2021, free education now. Rifa had this to say. Interesting how I somehow believed that having a VC of color at WITS would mean the cries of deserving students would finally be heard. His silence is very disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, it's heated, this issue of education. It's emotional. It really gets us worked up. So to help us unpack the ongoing fees protest at Wits, we are joined now by social justice activist and scholar Busisiwe Seabe. Good evening, Busi. Thanks for your time. I mean, we've seen this before. You know, the Fees Must Fall movement has been there. It's had a massive impact over the years. It's almost been 6 years since that momentous moment that we hoped would be the turn of things. You had a very busy day today. What was it about today that was different this time from what we've seen in the past?
Thank you very much for having me, and good afternoon to everyone. I wouldn't say that today was different from what we have seen in the past, and the only reason why I would say that is because we're back at our institutions of higher learning, asking for not only free decolonized education, but asking for students to be allowed to register with, regardless of their historical debt. So we're essentially back at universities of higher learning, fighting against financial exclusions and being brutalized by not only the institution, but by the SAP as private security at the behest of a state and a government, more especially a minister, that doesn't take education as seriously as he should.
So, Busisiwe, you know, the government funding scheme, NSFAS, mentioned that they're experiencing a financial shortfall for the 2021 academic year. So what are some of the issues that are affecting incoming students, readmitted students, and also more than anything, is the institution ready to start over this academic year under the lockdown restrictions?
It must be made very clear that the institution is not ready to start the academic year, and any reports that it is just perpetuating a narrative that goes against what the students who are living the reality of being excluded and unable to register are facing at the moment. So the institution is definitely not ready. And apart from that, NSFAS has obviously received a budget cut, but in and above that, we have to also understand the fact that you know, the Fees Must Fall movement went from being an administrative decisional opposition to being more of a political decisional opposition. And when it comes to the NSFAS bursary, one thing that we can tell you for a fact is that Bladen Zuma did not prepare the institution itself to be able to deal with the influx of learners that he knew were going to come into institutions of higher learning. He had the whole of 2020 to deal with this issue. A lot of students are facing historical debt and they can't deal with it because of the fact that our government is ill prepared and there is no political will to deal with the crisis we're facing.
And I think on that point, the political will is one thing that a lot of people are looking for, and one has to ask, why do we still keep finding ourselves in this situation? Busisiwe, we appreciate your time and indeed all the best. We really do feel for you and we're with you on this one. So social media can be the best and the worst place to say anything and pretty much whatever you want. And I've got to say the Minister of Transport, Fikile Mbalula, may have just realized that today. So hashtag Mbalula has had this issue of having to put out an official statement, apologizing for, yes, as you guessed it, one of his tweets. I mean, what else? And to be specific, the response that he had to sort of put out had everything to do with the tweet that he had later deleted.
Yeah, the deleting is so problematic. So this tweet was in a statement that he apologizes for his comment by saying, "It is regretful and unfortunate that my comment may have come across as an attack on the person and integrity of Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, as this was never my intention."
So, of course, Minister Mbaks had been in the news for the past couple of weeks, and I guess the core of why he's under fire is his Twitter account. I mean, can you believe it? Even the Secretary General of the ANC, Ace Makashule, was on radio today cautioning him about his tweets. Mbalula, like many people out there, let those characters get the better of him. I don't know which part of KO's song about, you know, losing a career over some characters he missed, but when will he ever learn?
I just think that there's something bigger at play here. Because this unraveling has been happening and I watched it and I was just like, I just think there's something bigger at play and something bigger is coming.
Is it him tweeting?
No, but he would have to approve those tweets that are coming out.
Not always.
Oh, not always.
Not always.
Oh, okay.
It's just a question.
I just want to say, take the phone away if it gets bad. Can somebody do that? I mean, who's close to fixing
who has the right?
phone away?
And actually, Loot might be onto something because the tweets keep coming from different phones. So one will come out of an Android phone, and those are usually contained and whatever. Then the sassy ones come out of an iPhone.
Whoa. So what about the realities that maybe he's got different phones hidden in different places? Maybe he is.
No.
Does he have a problem?
There is something that his
our
wife
generation.
to attend to.
I mean, there's big issues of accountability, and as a public bearer, you've got to be able to account to us as the public. Well, stay with us, because coming up, we have more top trends coming your way, and later on, we'll be unpacking some subtle and not so subtle signs of this thing we call stalker behavior in #Flowers Not Fists. It is our segment with our good friends from Vodacom. Stay with us. It is SAR on 3. We'll be back in a momo. Well, it is birthday vibes right here on TrendingSA. Welcome back. You're still tuned into #SAR on 3. So the much anticipated interview between Meghan Markle, her husband Prince Harry, and the Queen of Talk, Oprah Winfrey, finally happened, and boy, oh boy, was it explosive. So much was revealed. It left many people, including us, absolutely gobsmacked, like, what? And as you would know, there's so much from this list to pick from. But we have to ask about those moments that really stood out. And you know, that moment where you felt it is time to call Harvey Specter. What were those moments for you guys?
Shoo, where do you even begin?
This moment in the interview definitely confirmed some of our fears and had my jaw on the floor. It gave birth to a line that will go down in history as one of Oprah Winfrey's biggest mic drops. Boom.
Outspoken, especially about women's rights. I mean, that's the sad irony of the last 4 years, is I've advocated for so long for women to use their voice, and then I was silent.
Were you silent or were you silenced?
That is
Bars.
so scary.
Bars.
You know,
That is a bar.
as a woman, do you want to say something on this?
There's so much to say, but also just the environment that Oprah created for Meghan to respond to by asking that question and the way that she asked it. Or obviously as a woman who's experienced the very thing that she's asking about. Like, sure, there's so many women who feel like they want to say something but can't say something.
And you're actually not the only one, because this was an educational moment for a lot of people.
100%.
Because even Satara had this to say. Oprah asked Meghan Markle if she was silent or silenced. And if I'm reflecting on all the situation in which I felt I could have or should have said something or done more, the answers vary. But that question was a gift and a meditation on self-forgiveness.
100%.
I mean, this is almost like a movie we've seen before. I mean, think of Princess Diana. She went through the same thing.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's happening again, it's happening again.
And Harry actually alluded to it and said that I'm afraid of history repeating itself.
Sure, on that note, guys, you know what, I think for me what really stood out was when Meghan Markle spoke about, you know, the constant media comparison between herself and her sister-in-law, Kate Middleton, especially during their pregnancies. You know, media's comparisons between Kate and Meghan's pregnancy were just an absolute nightmare. Check this out.
Kate was praised for cradling her baby bump, and the headline about you doing the same thing said, Meghan can't keep hands off her baby bump for pride or vanity. Kate eating avocados to help with morning sickness.
I heard about the avocado.
But you were eating avocados.
And fueling murder, apparently.
No, wolfing down a fruit linked to water shortages, illegal deforestation, and environmental devastation.
I don't know why
That is absolutely disgusting.
I don't know why anybody would even think the fact that someone or a woman with child is holding her belly is being prideful or egotistical. You're literally being protective, because as soon as you step out, people want to come towards you, touch your stomach. You're being protective. You're being a mother.
No, there was a narrative that's put out there, and that article from that blog, I can't say because I don't want to promote them, but that article was showing that there was a narrative that was put out there. Now the question is, what was the cause? Was it racism or was it something else? But from what I picked up on the interview, it was definitely racism. And the tweets that are out there are racist right now.
Speaking of tweets, this is what Helium Walker had to say. Okay, if we're going to put Meghan versus Kate coverage, then let's do it properly, not via a BuzzFeed article with a selective article selection to get the right headline. Honestly, wow. Then we can say they received differential coverage with confidence and draw factual conclusions.
What more facts do they want? It's all there. Like, I don't understand that the people that are in defense of this whole thing are actually racist, and it's showing. And the things, they can't even hide it.
And this is the point.
And there are many things in this whole scenario that are very black and white, excuse the pun. As much as a lot of people are divided over some of these issues. But I've got to say, one of the moments for me that was absolutely jaw-dropping. I mean, this basically left all of us. This was the moment in the interview, the defining moment, the exclusive tell-all. This is almost like what we thought would come but weren't sure. It came, and I think we can all collectively agree that this was such a disheartening revelation. I mean, take a look at this.
All around this same time. So we have in tandem the conversation of he won't be given security, he's not going to be given a title. And also concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
What?
I mean, that pause by Oprah is quite telling, because that's how the whole world feels, right? It's almost like we knew to some extent that royal family is racist, but that was just a startling confirmation of this.
Do you know what was beautiful about this whole thing? And I was really hoping that it would come out, because there's a show that I watch and I fell in love with Umagogo on that show, like in her younger years. It actually came out on the show, on this interview, that she was not the problematic one, because Meghan spoke about how she was always supportive, that blanket situation in the car, and then Harry said it, I think 3 times, that my grandmother has always been supportive. So now we are left with Charles, we are left with Camilla, we are left with Kate, and we are left with William. And we know Camilla has been naughty since the 60s.
And that's when you start to do the process of elimination. What I really love about Meghan is that no names were dropped, but it almost leaves us to just connect the dots.
She gives you enough information to figure out who it is without actually saying who it is, so she can actually maybe try stay alive. You know what I mean?
And also, just for my family, where we've seen them marrying relatives, for them to be concerned about how dark the baby's skin will be is another baffling thing to me. So you can marry your cousin, but the baby can't be mixed race.
First of all, they should be honored by that melanin. Let's start there.
If it wasn't for all the memes with what Archie looks like now versus what the royal family thinks Archie is going to look like later, I don't know, maybe Archie Moroka, maybe this was the fear from the royal family. I mean, this for me, it just kind of sums it up. And the stupidity of it all, you know, from the royal family to have such assertions, I just think is unbelievable. Really it is. Where are we in the world?
I am just imagining how happy Diana is right now, saying, please tell Charles that I want him to know that I did it. We are going on a quick ad break, and when we come back, we'll be getting into our hashtag flowers, not fists feature in partnerships with our BFFs at Vodacom. You don't want to miss it. It's on 3.
Welcome back to TrendingSA right here on SABC3. So Vodacom is connecting people through technology to tackle the scourge of gender-based violence that is plaguing our society in South Africa. And Vodacom believes that the best support that we can offer the victims of GBV is education and awareness. So Vodacom South Africa's Director of Finance, Sitho Mdlalose, had this to say.
I think the first step towards solving gender-based violence is really, as with many things, starts in the home. I think it starts with personal ownership, and I think it starts with what we teach our children. I've recently been so moved by the topic of gender-based violence that as I've done my reading, I've picked up a book. I have 2 boys who are 10 and 8, and I picked up a book called Raising boys who respect girls. And I genuinely think that starting to empower children and starting to educate children within our homes, within the schools, will begin to start a cultural transformation on appropriate responses and indeed prevention of gender-based violence.
Wise words from Seed. So we all need to play our part to curb the scourge of GBV. So tonight on our hashtag Flowers Not Fist segment, we want to ensure that you know the subtle and not so subtle signs that you are being stalked.
So we've all heard of stalking, whether you are a victim of it or know someone who's been in that kind of situation. And listen, it is incredibly harmful and it can often go unchecked. And sometimes it's got serious consequences from an emotional and even physical point of view. Stalkers are calculating and they go through very scary means in their efforts to try and find out the ins and outs about your movements and routines. So we thought it would be good to give you some tips. And here is the first tip to tell if someone is stalking you. Like when someone gathers personal information about you. I mean, come on.
Definitely scary.
Surely we can just like tag all the newspapers that come out on Sunday.
And social...
I can relate.
Oh, Loot. Nothing is more gut-wrenching than feeling like someone is watching you and you constantly need to check your back and see if someone is not following you. Do you ever get a feeling like your sixth sense is heightened when you're about to leave your house or workplace or you're out at the mall with friends?
Let me tell you, I have dated somebody who I felt like was following me or watching me, and it's so uncomfortable. And like, trust me, if you feel like it's happening, it probably is, and do something about it.
Definitely.
Like,
Trust your instincts.
Yeah, very critical. And sometimes being showered with unknown phone calls from someone you perhaps are not seeing socially. I mean, that spells disaster.
Yeah.
Think about it. Where do you draw the line, right? And I mean, is this something you go through? Maybe this is something you've encountered before. Like, for instance, receiving repeated calls from someone you are not seeing socially.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many numbers I get on my phone from random people.
Yeah.
But you know what I've learned? Having like an app on your phone that actually helps you identify who the number is belonging to, who this person is, etc. I think that's a great way of trying to sift it all out. Because you can imagine how many people are trying to get a hold of me.
At the end of the day, stalking is a serious crime and it violates your rights to privacy and your peace of mind. So if you suspect in any way that you're being stalked, we have a few precautionary steps that you could take to protect yourself. Number one, you can remember constantly where you can change the passwords of your apps, emails, and social media accounts. Always ensure your live location is shared with a trusted friend or family member. Also, setting an emergency SOS on your phone can help you. And yeah, have it in case of emergency contact.
An ICE number. So just save a number and say ICE.
So important stuff. And remember, these are very important things that you need to take note of. So please do. And as you know, we've had this issue with gender-based violence. It's affecting many of our lives across the country, and Vodacom is doing its part to help survivors. So do the right thing. Download Vodacom's Bright Sky app. It is free. It's a resource that can help you. You can also call Vodacom's GBV Command Center, which is 0800 428. It's available 24 hours, 7 days a week for your support. And that is it from our installment today.
Good night. Good night, South Africa. We love you. Mwah.